Hello everybody, I'm Krasi and this is my week for the 12 Ascendants. I will make a brief overview on what is happening this week on the sky so that you know, and after that I will talk ascendant per ascendant and the timestamps for for each ascendant you will find under this video. Now what is happening this week? Monday 21st October until the next Sunday. So what is happening this week is I'm looking now a very creative conjunction, something very beautiful, very nice, and this is the Sun, the visible already Venus, and Mercury are meeting all together in the sign of Libra. I'm talking about sidereal coordinates. Now Mercury will stay there just a couple of days, and after that we'll enter the sign of sidereal Scorpio. And Venus is already visible. Mercury is invisible, hidden in the rays of the sun, but Venus is already visible. So what is this? Venus and Mercury went together. They are they're often together, but they're close together now. They form the beautiful conjunction which is representing the nature of speaker, the star of eloquence, creativity, spirituality, luck, many beautiful features. So Venus and Mercury will meet there, and the sun is there, and the sun is not burning Venus into his rays anymore. So Venus is visible as an evening star, which I advise you to look at Venus in the evening after the sun sets. And don't forget to try to look at Venus, because this is a very good connection, and it's good for every person. So we are going to have this conjunction of Venus, Sun, and Mercury in the sign of Libra. Creative, very beautiful, very good for media work, and because this is Libra, for design, creative work of art. Libra is the hidden place of Saturn, which would say that Libra is also associated with exact sciences, with so this is also what this conjunction can improve for some people. Of course, the details depend on how where Libra is in your chart, how Venus and Mercury are placed in your chart, what aspects they receive. So these details matter a lot, of course. In the meantime, Mars remains invisible in Virgo, and he will be invisible for quite some time, up until November. But this week he is invisible still in Virgo. When Mars is invisible, he can be, as I told you, quite unpredictable, we can't foresee what is he hiding for us. And he's not less sharp his energies can be softer in some cases, but when he acts unpredictably, he can also be a bit, surprising, not always in a very good sense, but once again, depends on the charts of each one of us. And Mars is forming square towards Saturn and Pluto and Ketu, which are in the sign of Sagittarius. And yes, Jupiter is still in Scorpio sidereal in the very last degrees, and is still not entering. He will do this on the 9th of November, sidereal. So you can look at my other video, I'm explaining about Jupiter, but Jupiter is still also this week in the sign of Scorpio. So no change for Saturn, Pluto, Ketu, they are in Sagittarius. So this is just briefly what is happening on the sky. You can benefit from this week, like in terms of creativity, artwork, eloquence. You can't really do new beginnings because the moon is not very appropriate for that. It's not very supportive, but it's wonderful for if you are waiting for your muse to do some very creative art, or some beauty works, and eloquence, negotiations as well. So this was just my brief overview, and now I'm starting to look ascendant per ascendant, and let's start with ascendant Aries. So for you, beautifully, this conjunction of this week of the Sun, Mercury, and already visible Venus from the sign of Libra are aspecting your ascendant, and this is really good. This, maybe you can feel deep in your heart a desire to create, or to talk, or to create art, or to do beautiful things. It could be that this is very positive for your relationship, for your contacts with people, for agreements that you have. This particular conjunction. In any case, it will influence you for good. I'm sure about that. And on the other hand, Saturn and Pluto are trine in your ascendant, and most probably this is leading also this week towards interest to do ancient research and studies. Yes, to do deep philosophical studies, spiritual work, because Saturn is about the past, about the hidden secrets, about exact studies, exact knowledge. Of course, he imposes restrictions, but since he is creating harmonious aspect towards your ascendant, I see more his good qualities. And of course, again, depends on your natal chart. Now for you this week is good for creative work, good for travel. You may negotiate, you may not do new beginnings, you may be a little bit cautious at work where the energy still can be a little bit hostile and can contain some secrets. All right, this was for ascendant Aries. Now we're looking at Taurus. Now for you already your ascendant ruler is visible beautifully in your 6th house with the sun, with Mercury. And this is very nice for your routine work, for your routine activities. Like this can be, you can have some good surprises for subordinates or good creative environment. Like your routine environment and day and deeds and duties can be pleasant, very much art-like, very much beauty-like. The week is good, can be very positive for negotiations, for travel, but not for new beginnings. And be a bit cautious and attentive with children. But in any case, the week looks fine for me and good for you may have pleasure and just good experiences in your routine environment, and your relationship, your private life, your relationship is supported, but still also there be a little bit diplomatic. Now we're looking at ascendant Gemini. Now, for you, this beautiful conjunction of the Sun, Mercury, and the visible Venus is happening on your 5th house, and this is very lucky. Lucky for your incomes, lucky for work of art, lucky for any lucky event that may happen, for your gains even. Well, we're not forgetting, of course, that you're still a bit restricted from the conjunction of Saturn, Pluto, and Ketu, which is happening on your 7th house, but still Venus is watching, so she should be softening this a lot, and you may experience also improvement in your love life, in your relationship. Already things are starting slowly to get better. However, some tension is possible at home and at work, a bit hostility, hidden stuff. So be a bit, like with open eyes. But Venus is watching towards ascendant, towards descendant, and this is very positive. I'm sure you will be on the safe side. You may travel, you may negotiate, you may not do new beginnings, but the week is quite good for you. Okay, let's see now. And yes, remain responsible for your health, that's for sure. And now we're looking at ascendant Cancer. For you, the conjunction of Venus, Mercury, and the Sun, and the visible Venus, which is an evening star, is happening on your 4th house to bring peace and good emotions, and at home, which can result in some good things also at work. You still be a bit cautious, not very trustful at work with your subordinates. Otherwise, the lucky placement of Jupiter is making sure that you have lucky events happening or supporting your incomes and gains. In terms of travel, you may need to be a little bit cautious. Also, the week is not very appropriate for you to do travel and negotiations, and also new beginnings. But you may have some lucky things happening at work, and you may also experience good possibilities and opportunities to improve relationships at home. But be careful, as I said, when traveling and when negotiating this week. This was for ascendant Cancer. And you will be looking at ascendant Leo. For you, beautifully, this conjunction of the Sun of Venus and Mercury is happening on your third house, which is brilliant for your studies, for creative work, for even for negotiations, and for you might travel. Can be very lucky in terms of spiritual events that may be happening. It's like you may feel very spiritually uplifted, very well, desiring to create some art. This is lucky for also for your private relationship, and lucky for yourself for having some good events. Still be careful and attentive when it comes to children. You know, I've been repeating this. In terms of money, there in the place where you're making your money, could be that there you experience some need to be a bit cautious. Surprises are possible. But in any case, the luck is on your side very much this week because of the placement of Venus and Mercury, but also actually of Jupiter, which are watching towards your ascendant and also descendant. You may travel, you may negotiate, the week is fine. Just in the place when you're making your money, be a bit attentive, and also attentive towards children. All right, this was Leo ascendant. Now we're looking at Virgo ascendant. You're having Mars invisible on your ascendant, and this is a sign that you may need to be a bit cautious, like awake, open-minded, and do not trust very much people. If you feel a bit too impulsive, like count to 10 before you say something, before you like to make any decision. It is possible that you have some things to solve at home, like the environment may be a little bit hostile or a little bit cold, but you can work on this because still Venus and Mercury and the Sun from your second house are helping a lot when it comes to family relationships. The week is very nice. You can be also lucky this week when in terms of gains and money. You may travel, you may negotiate, but make sure that when you are traveling, when you're negotiating, you prepare everything very well. When you're negotiating, keep in mind that you may be too impulsive, that you may say things too fast, and also be aware that this invisible Mars on your ascendant can be a reason not to trust your opponent, not to trust the against party. Just be awake, alert, and you will be absolutely on the safe side. And keep in mind to count to 10 before you say something because of the impulsiveness, the impulsive nature of Mars. Otherwise, you may travel, you may negotiate, and this particular placement of Venus can be a good reason for you to try with diplomacy, with love, with your intuition to solve family issues if you have such. And now we're looking at Libra. Libra ascendant. You're very lucky with your own ascendant ruler on your ascendant, with Mercury, with the Sun. They're making this conjunction on your ascendant. This is brilliant, very lucky. It's like while this is happening on your ascendant, when Venus became visible on your ascendant for some parts of Europe, this would say that like nothing bad can happen to you. It's really brilliant thing, and it's also very nice because it's good for your gains, for your overall energies, for your it is good for your incomes, just very good. You may travel, you may negotiate, still just attention to your health and to relationship with siblings. There you may need to be cautious, and also you may need to be a bit more time oriented, and you may need to, when it comes to completing education or completing tasks, you may need to do additional efforts. But for the rest, the luck is on your side in terms of gains, in terms of good luck, creative work, design work, artistic work, spiritual. It's all on your side. Just another very good week for you. All right, this was for Libra. And we're looking at Scorpio ascendant. Now for you, Jupiter is still on your ascendant, beautiful, but still you're having the Sun, Venus, and Mercury on your 12th house, which can lead to, well, it is the 12th house is what? The temples, our isolated places, the places of like a hospital, isolations abroad. It's all about this. It's about things that you're not doing in public. So this can lead to this desire to do some spiritual work, or to you know, the attention is there. It will be good though for your health. If you had health issues, this can be a very good week to solve them. So this can be supportive in terms of your health. Still, your ascendant ruler is invisible in your 11th house. This is not bad for your gains, but can be um, can make you a little bit impulsive, can create hidden surprises in relation to your social environment and friends. So that is where you may need to be a little bit careful. Other than that, you may travel. Negotiations, not really, but also you're not they're not denied, but not really also supported. In terms of health, the week is okay. Gains as well, so it's a good week, but in particularly it will more have the emphasis on those activities which are not really done in public, your meditation, your spiritual work, your empathic work, helping others. So in this sense, the week can be very interesting also for you. And this was for Ascendant Scorpio. And now we are looking at Ascendant Sagittarius. Now for you, Venus, Mercury, and the Sun are aspecting beautifully Saturn, Pluto, Ketu on your Ascendant, and with this it should be a better week for you. When Venus is watching towards Saturn, this is a very softening, very beautiful energy for sure. And also, your ascendant ruler is still on the 12th house, which, well, we know what it means. It's a little bit this desire for self-isolation or to go deep into your spiritual consciousness and practices. But still, Venus is there to bring some joy, to bring desire to do work of creativity, work of beauty. So in this sense, this is very good. Be a bit cautious at work with superiors, like be careful there. You may travel, you may negotiate careful, you may create beauty for certain studies, and sharing your knowledge. The week in this sense is very, very good for you. Just have a bit more patience, and also you will be very much rewarded when in January Saturn leaves your ascendant and Jupiter enters. It will be really, really, really reason to celebrate. Yes, all right. And now we're looking at Saturn, Capricorn ascendant. Now for you, very beautifully, Venus, Mercury, and the Sun are making their conjunction, especially the visible Venus is very important, on your 10th house. They're watching your ascendant to support your work of creativity, to support your work relationship with superiors. Jupiter is creating 6th house. The week is quite good for you, apart from the fact that still your ascendant ruler is in the 12th house. But and even if this is a bit of reason to have desire to self-isolate yourself, or for self-isolation, or to do empathic work, which is not necessarily to be shown in public, still you're having the support of Venus, Mercury, and the Sun on your 10th house, which is basically influencing everything for good. Your relationships, your private relationship, your own self, your own moods for good, your own well-being. In this sense, the week will be very good for you. You may travel, you may do negotiations work. The week is not necessarily appropriate for new beginnings. So this was about Capricorn. Now we're looking at Aquarius. For you, very, very nicely, Venus, Mercury, and the Sun, and especially I'm emphasizing on the visible Venus, will be making harmonious aspect towards your ascendant. This is wonderful. You might travel, you may negotiate, you may do teaching, completing studies, spiritual work. You you're supported in terms of gains, in terms of luck, success, new beginnings. You may not necessarily do this week, but your work, your deeds, your relationship with people, all this is very beautifully supported. Your creativity. So you may travel, you may negotiate. Only the thing that I mentioned. Now, still be attentive towards children up until Saturn moves away from your 11th house. Just be attentive to be on the safe side. But in any case, Saturn receives the positive energies from Venus, so he's softened, and you know Saturn loves Venus. So the week looks very, very good for you, also for your work environment, for your gains. Looks like a very good week. And now we're looking at Ascendant Pisces. For you, your ascendant ruler, you know, Jupiter, of course, is trining still, which he's doing for 1 year. This is fine. This is very much saving you. The attention point goes a little bit towards your work environment, of course, relationship with superiors. That is a little bit maybe tense or cold or not very, or you may feel that you're not on your place, that it's not very harmonious. So this is one thing. On the other hand, the week can be good more for your partner financially than for you, or depends on your chart, but the gains can come in a surprising, in a good way. So this can be very positive. But on the other hand, the beautiful conjunction between Venus, Mercury, and the Sun is not directly influencing your ascendant to bring you direct sense of joy, but still they can be very positive to your partner, and you can have your good, you know, outcomes from there. On the other hand, could be that the environment at home is a little bit not very harmonious, lack in harmony. That is where you may need to work on. For the rest, this week, be careful when traveling and negotiating. The week may not be very, very appropriate for this. But in any case, still Jupiter is saving you, so I'm sure you'll be on the safe side, but with some notes which I just gave you. Be cautious, use always, as you do, your intuition, and you will be on the safe side. So with this, I'm completing my week for the 12 ascendants. Well, thank you for your attention. And yes, I'm also having monthly predictions. You can look at them. And especially interesting is the one of Jupiter, which can be useful for everyone. Jupiter entering sidereal Sagittarius. It's something that I would recommend for you to watch, as it is something that gives us a very good hope. So thank you for your attention. My contacts are under this video and the timestamps as well.